I am Robert Sterling Price, and I am building a futurist, functionist, public, and private starship industry. And today I want to talk about FTL travel. Um, in order to understand how actual FTL travel and drives work, you need to know what light actually is and what the speed of light actually means. Pretty much, the base world matter was discovered through me forcing the CIA to make some ripped base fabric lenses for a ripped base fabric supercomputer, which literally ran the programming in super complicated algorithms that unveiled the highly transparent, structured, inert, non-porous matter, what is being called the base world matter. So this is energized to the trillionth scale of the subatomic particle and densified into a hard mass levitator, a computer-controlled, structured, computer-created and controlled space fabric, aka a construct, inside of Starship engine, levitator, or shield emission system or something, whatever thing you can make. So the whole deal is with the internet talking about FTL travel. They don't have the absolute real substance of light, what it is. Light is primarily forces from the star rolling through the base world matter, and when it goes through a blob, it just rips off a blob from the original blob, and that is equivalent to a photon. And we've measured this to the trillionth of scale of the subatomic particle in theories and theoreticals, and we can energize it. The main rip base supercomputer still can't energize the 100% perfection of the space fabric because there's trillions and trillions of forces at this medium, at this scale, to which we're talking about, to the trillionth scale of the subatomic particle. And it's still hard for it to do it, but it's still the most powerful supercomputer ever made by man by far. And so I want to point to some clues. Well, you have the obvious discovery of the base world matter, which you can go outside, stand in the shade on a bright sunny day, and look up adjacent to the shining of the sun. And that's transluminated non-particle matter contrailing behind particles, wind vortices, and it has, etc. And things. And this non-particle matter has a surface tension, and that's basically what's creating all that elasticity in that normal dynamic. But the base world matter is responsible for heating and cooling the planet. So, in the Bible, the universe is of old, and according to the Bible, which I believe is 100% correct, but anyway, the universe is of old. So extraterrestrial civilizations, human and alien, have definitely figured this out. So you have a UFO metal. Take that for example. This particle, this molecule of metal, is basically a structured singularity that doesn't implode. It doesn't get vaped off or waned down so easily like decaying matter in a rock, where it just gets so small and disappears and goes right through the soul. So a UFO metal is most likely segmented. It's so the molecules itself are spread apart a little bit to have a little bit higher flow of non-porous matter through it. So when this vehicle is at FTL speeds, this non-porous matter can be drawn through the main metal and substrate without destroying the speeds. All right. I really want to diss on all the FTL drive videos, because the United States government definitely has video of vehicles in space going at 1 trillion light years per hour, extremely fast. All right, and they made videos of them. The United States government still aids and abets the use of 100% lethal risk-based global spy network. That's how all this shit just leaks out and just freaking comes out, because they do not secure themselves or stop CIA from operating this. And it just goes out and blows in the wind. But anyway, for every single UFO video and every single UFO drive, FTL video and FTL drive, they don't come close to actually discovering what light is. Light is just forces rolling through the base world matter and literally ripping off a blob out of another blob, and that becomes a photon, which will also turn into an ion. Basically, an ion and an electron will become interchangeably. The ion, the energized blob of non-polar matter, can decay and put a load on the general space fabric and move, and that will create an equality in pressure on the electric particle. Just the electron or particle, do any of them, but they don't have systems to that scale that can watch every single subatomic particle. Now, the Rift-based superior can do it for a few minutes, but we don't really, since you discovered the base world matter, there's no really need to run those calculations even that high. But so literally every FTL video, every FTL drive on the internet is completely wrong. You can have a vehicle run faster than light, and all those forces from light, of the base world matter, can easily flow around that vehicle. They can easily do that. They can even the forces that will, I'm about to sneeze, the forces that will rip apart that UFO metal where it's segmented and it's separated just enough where a whole bunch of non-polar matter is able to pass through it and stuff. It still maintains its placing. So when the scientists are cutting up like a UFO and trying to use a torch and it doesn't work, the base world matter is responsible for heating and cooling. So the extraterrestrial vehicle remains intact while they try to use a torch or some kind of plasma cutter, electron laser, anything you can think of, try to cut it apart. That's exactly what that extraterrestrial vehicle is designed to do, to take endless amount of non-polar matter at faster than light speeds and deplete it, or deblate it, whatever you want to call it, away from the vehicle, or manage it in the computer structure space fabric. It's extremely fascinating, extremely cool. With the Rift-based telescope, that's 100 billion detected extraterrestrial civilizations out there. So I was watching the project coelacanth. I never edit any damn thing, so anyway, let's continue. I was watching Project coelacanth videos on YouTube, and I believe some of those are 100% real. I think I don't know, but I can't prove it. But in one of the videos, I was telling Pete that it looks like they have a reactor, and what this is doing is taking teleportation forces out of the base world matter without really energizing, and then broadcasting them to a high energy state or a utilization to use. See, my hard mass LED that I got the CI made just makes forces to the trillionth scale of the subatomic particle and super densifies the hard mass, and it comes out just pouring like freaking super crazy water until it's stabilized as water. So it won't be, the first stabilization is just kind of like 100% straight antimatter, and that's extremely bad. But then you stabilize it, and the forces go through at 200 times speed light, and then you can run your vehicle off for further densification. So it's the same thing. So, but this is an exponential subatomic revolution that's in the universe. So there's more than one way to densify the base world matter. You got a Matterhorn that takes the molecules of metal and flows the base world matter out, and it auto densifies in the space hour. You got a hard mass, a laser to hard mass rectifier. It takes laser light and shoots all those photons until they make forces to the trillionth scale of the subatomic particle and densify the base world matter. You got a million different ways to do this, okay? This revolution cannot be stopped. It cannot end, and you cannot, for the life of mankind, ever say that you cannot go faster than light. That hard mass LED literally proves that humanity can build a miniaturized starship and land on any planet in any galaxy they can see. As long as they can find that galaxy, they can land on it. It's insane that these FTL drives and videos. So Project Steelcant is literally the basic foundation of what NASA's FTL drive is. And I've seen about a week ago with Rift-based lenses in my eyes, with other things, I've seen one of those vehicles, and I got them to come to. So there's more than one way to communicate to extraterrestrials. All right. Prescience is not purely telepathic, and there's no human that is naturally born telepathic. What is happening is that you energize enough non-particle matter to send directly the exact neurological information, the mechanical structures of the brain, to interpret as a vision or image, or basically a mental TV. You're not telepathic. It's just a system. Typically, an extraterrestrial vehicle that's flying over your house trying to abduct you will use a FTL hard mass computer and send you an image, and that image will be gray. And this is why gray aliens are called gray, but they're actually not gray. They're usually brown and yellow and green and other things. But so you got prescience, all right? Now, these extraterrestrials, there's apparently an extraterrestrial group of humans, which are telling the government, and they have prescience. They energize the base royal matter, and that brings out like the character on TV with a full black screen, a full black background. Okay, we see this in the computer data, but when the AKA extraterrestrial humans from a different source energize the full prescience capability, you have a layered amount of construction paper in a zigzag, different colors. So what they did was take a system and layered over this non-particle matter that was coming in the prescience first pressed image, and get a more higher energization of the data that wasn't fully being energized. So guess what, people? Extraterrestrials made TV before planet Earth did. They started out with prescience, basically energized non-particle matter and sent it directly into the brain, all right? And that's how they communicate to somebody without radios or TV. It's just that, see, I got the main Riptide supercomputer to read the mind, and we first called it the main mind reading supercomputer, so I can illustrate my ideas and inventions to people and try to make money. So they thought I was a retard. Apparently it wasn't. I'm just a normal person. So now, once you got the main mind reading supercomputer to figure out there's non-particle matter, the base royal matter, and it became the main Rift-based supercomputer. And so now this supercomputer operates an illegally stolen spy network that is my property, that is stolen by the Fatbridge spy people that went and got the terrorists for 9/11. And then they gave this spy gear 2 weeks before Bill Clinton left office to the CIA, an uncontrollable government organization, CIA. And then they mass-produced the spy gear and implanted everybody on Earth about 2004 and 2008 before they conducted 9/11. But that's major accusations. I can only tell you what happened. It's not a fun story, but anyway. So anyway, now the main Rift-based supercomputer and me and CIA, Fatbridge spy. Now we've discovered the base royal matter. I made the discovery of the base royal matter. with rip-based fabric technologies, and I hold the keys to all that, and I plan to get it out to the public and go public and do all that stuff. So, the first type of extraterrestrial communication of extraterrestrial humans in Earth's solar system, it's prescience. All right, the extraterrestrials using they're doing the scientific study known as the Greys and various. There's like 5 or 6 different types of these aliens. They travel out the galaxy. We use their rip-based hard mass to rip space fabric, avoidance of the space fabric, and got an extraterrestrial sustained communication. I don't. And these extraterrestrials were flying out of the galaxy. When the winter comes, they fly out of the galaxy. I don't know when their next installment of scientists to planet Earth. As these aliens are leaving the galaxy, they contact another alien in another desert world, whatever. So we kind of watched that. So before all this, an extraterrestrial Imperial hard mass drone recorded a video of starting from another Earth-like world that had like dandelions on it. I just got so much information, and it's just going to paint over everything. And it flew out of that atmosphere, made a 90-degree turn, and flew and super accelerated past the solar system, then flew through these clouds in the galaxy or something, or its solar system. I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to remember because the supercomputer is constantly attacked and memory is constantly altered. But so anyway, this level of spine, the rip-based fabric gold spiner, was getting impacted or sent information. Somehow the extraterrestrials uploaded this video on the spy network, and it caught it. I think that was the first communication. Then it went to the dimensionalized communication, the rip-based fabric communication, through the extraterrestrials scientists leaving planet Earth. And they were traveling from one galaxy to another galaxy. Well, I gotta change. Before that, I got in contact to the extraterrestrials through dimensionalized communication. And they showed me a facility like 5 hand spaces out of the galaxy that was running all the operations for these types of extraterrestrials. It's like 5 hand spaces out of the galaxy. They had 1,000 solar systems in HD. They teleport this to your mind. 1,000 HD solar systems on the wall here in extreme high definition. 1,000 of them. There had to be 1,000 of them. There's so many. And they had a little red flashing light over planet Earth. Probably exact opposite. And then they sent an extraterrestrial out because that's when Pete Hegseth was and the Russians trying to nuke each other or going to nuke each other, which they probably will. But so Pete Hegseth strapped on his gun one day, and he was shooting at aliens that were coming to help planet people on planet Earth leave the planet. But a little before that, this alien flew that massive 5 hand spaces away from the Milky Way, and he got to the edge of the galaxy, and it took 24 hours from the edge to planet Earth, which he come to the exact opposite side of the globe, and in that time I seen him. So how do you see extraterrestrials without rip space fabric islands or highly advanced spy gear? There's a child's game where you play. I mean, just like sleight of hand or you move your hands faster than your eye. You don't do that. So what you do in order to see extraterrestrial vehicles, you stand still away from something, you don't hurt yourself, and you move your head by looking straight, and your brain will default and it'll see a black spot, a black circle, disc, maybe a cube or something. When you move your head without moving your eyes and without blinking,